Anyway, going off the back of what you said
Yeah.
about how we're coping and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
we're not all coping very well.
Word, brother.
We're not all coping very well, man.
In
And
every
right now,
aspect for me,
we're in deep times, man.
We all are,
we're in
for
hot
real.
water.
Literally,
So they say.
the whole world is kind of, everyone is kind of in limbo. It's mad. I'm just
But
about getting free.
Obviously, this is what I mean. Obviously,
Yeah.
I knew this. We was gonna kind of bring up this have this kind of conversation anyway.
Okay.
In that sense, and it's one of those ones I was kind of going back and forth in it as well. And it's like what we said the other day, bruv. Like, what was the turning point in it? Really, the turning point in the sense of everyone, because nowadays it's like everyone's on edge, bro. Everyone's on edge to either doing
Facts.
something that ends up in them in a result of them no longer being here or whatever, bro. And like we were saying the other day, we was trying to figure out exactly when that turning point was, because go back say even 5 years ago, that wasn't the case, bruv. It wasn't a case of
Okay.
right.
In terms of the mental health type shit. Okay.
It wasn't a case of that maybe say 5 years ago.
For sure.
So I'm wondering where's the turning point and what exactly really is got it to that kind of that sort of stage where society's just gone all the way like this, blood, and now it's just like, get me, people's having having those thoughts but really following through with it, and it's just like it's mad, bruv. It's mad. And you nowadays you got to mind what you say to people. You can't, like, you got to check it. You got to check in on people. And like, even when you do that, bruv, you still don't know whether that person's actually alright or whatnot. You get me?
That's like the trickiest part of the whole thing, is just the idea that, like, if someone is in that state, there's literally nothing well, there is things you could attempt to do to try and help them out of that state. But while they're in that position, it's kind of like someone being locked in a cage and being the only one with the key type situation. You could only do so much, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like left to that individual on the other side, which is where in my head it's kind of like, in terms of where you're saying the world is kind of taking a 180 when it comes to that. I feel like it's kind of the same when it comes to, let's say, a lot of rights that have been changed in terms of the way people used to see it then. It's just switched. So there's a lot that's changed. Like someone was mentioning, 2018 specifically was the year that a lot of shit just kind of flipped on its head. Like the perception of things that could be possible kind of changed.
Yeah.
With whether it's Trump getting into presidency, whether it's the things he's got away with, whether it's the kind of the things that were kind of being thrown out there, whether it's what's going on in Hollywood with all the freaking Me Too movement and all that. So I guess in my head, it's like a lot of shit is shifting anyway. But then today, it's like
it's gonna shift, and it's gonna shift so rapidly, which it already is. But if anyone thinks it's gonna get this depends on what you determine as what's better and whatever, and I don't know. But for me, I'm personally I'm saying from my era, obviously, like I'm being in this one now. Yeah, like this blood is only gonna get worse. Me personally, I personally think it's only gonna get worse. I don't know if you've seen Demolition Man, or if anybody's watched Demolition Man, Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone, you know what gone. Basically, I can't even remember what year that's set in. That's like 2030 or some mad shit like that. It's one of them ones, basically. No flying cars, but the cars are all, it's them kind of cars. You get me? Very high tech, kind of looking mad kind of cars. You get me? I'm flipping. Like, things have taken such a rapid change. There's no more crime, bruv. There's just no.
There's no more crime.
There's no more crime.
Okay. Okay. So not that there's no more crime. It's just that isn't really.
There's just nothing going on. Like, everyone's just. Okay. It's almost just like everyone's just at bliss. Yeah. In that sense, like they've come to a point where at some point, obviously, they've managed to rule out all crime, and get humanity and society to a stage where there's just no crime. There's zero crime, basically, practically whatsoever. And they've got these little, robot kind of, tele, like flipping, just something that you would speak into in that sense, and it responds back to you. But like they've got that kind of thing, and even depending on what you say, or like if you swear, it kind of keeps you in check. And if you're swearing at it, or like you may say something, you get like a fine and all that kind of stuff. But like, I can't remember what my point was from the back of that. But I think what I was trying to say is that it wouldn't surprise me if it goes into something like that eventually. I don't think it will. Us humans got too much fucking. Yeah, bro.
I mean, it's weird
twisted.
because
so
we are in such a weird position that it's you never know. It's just kind of like an open slate.
Or there might be a one sector. There might be a one section where this side is the bliss side. Don't nothing go on that side, and then you got the other side, and everything goes on in this other side.
In my head, if I was to lean closer, to anyone, I think it's gonna be that. Where it would be a case of like a Hunger Games type thing where the rich and the ones with the power are secured while everyone else is kind of left.
Or like the maze or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. It's I don't know.
That's always going to be the case though, and a lot of people's always going to complain about the rich and all this other stuff and whatnot, and obviously like how shit needs to be
corrupt.
Yeah. But I mean, like I think people need to start changing their mindset a bit in terms of like, it's not about let's be out there and let's try take things from the rich and bring them down to our level, because that's almost like it seems like what people
crabs in a bucket type of mentality
to do for centuries, brother, or whatever. You know what I mean when it comes to all this. With what goes down with the government
from the rich,
and stuff like
poor.
that.
Yeah.
And but like, more have a mindset of how can I get there? How can I get from where I am to over there?
Yeah.
So I can,
as opposed to
be in that position. How can I, that's what I mean.
Out of there. Yeah.
It's like,
definitely.
I don't think a lot of people think that way, bro. I think a lot of people go to work, do the whole 9 to 5 thing.
People are too comfy though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just too,
exactly. It's like too comfy, but then like to complain at the same time. But then want to win lottery and all that kind of stuff.
It's like one of those weird situations where you're kind of stuck in a situation that is not ideal, but it's just convenient enough for you not to want to put more effort in. Which is pretty much where I was when it came to working at Subway. Like I hated the place, like I hated it with a passion, but like thinking about the stress I went through in terms of job searching, like in my head it was like, would I rather just stick with something that I've spent 2 years with and I know enough like the back of my hand, or would I rather put myself in a super uncomfortable position and start looking for a new job? Bro,
even just from you saying that, I already know that putting yourself in the most uncomfortable position is the best place to be.
It's the best place to be, but like in the moment, it doesn't feel like it.
In the moment, it don't feel like it. But I know it's the best place to put yourself, because it's gonna force you in it.
You would understand that. You might understand that as well.
Yeah.
Purely because you found yourself in that situation, and you can understand that sitting there and just taking it is like the worst.
Like for example, I'm in this hostel now, and before last year was a very peak year for me.
Okay.
So I was living at my old man's, long story short, I got kicked out, and all that stuff. So I was comfortable living there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But the hostel I'm in, that's like living in hell.
For sure.
But I know if I go through it and all that, I know I'll be in a better position. Do you know what I'm saying? God willing.
It's one of those kind of situations where you're kind of stuck with no options, so you just have to fight through it.
And there's the old saying that beggars can't be choosers.
There's a lot of option, and it really just depends, in terms of what avenue or so what which route you're going to take to get to wherever you're trying to get to. But really and truly, bro, when you really boil down to it, what is it that everybody's after? You know, is it happiness? Is it money? Or, you know, which one is it exactly?
And that's the funny
almost
thing,
like it's
because
both in that sense.
everyone that I've asked that whole question to, and I've either brought up that whole idea that can money bring happiness, that whole cliche, does money buy happiness thing. Most people are
Money buys you
leaning
peace
over.
of mind, bruv. It buys you peace
It
of
buys
mind.
you freedom.
It buys you
It
peace
buys
of
you
mind.
peace
And
of
so
mind,
again,
and
freedom,
it's like,
this is what I'm trying to
and
say. So really, it is essential.
It's weird because in an ideal world that would not be the case, but because of the way the world is set out and the way we're so reliant on money, it's kind of equivalent to happiness. Because if you don't have money, for the most part, you can be happy, but it's gonna be a lot harder. It's gonna take a lot of mental strength.
It depends on someone's perception, though, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think it depends on what you want out of life also. As well, at the same time, I think this is dependent on what that individual wants out of life for them personally. I would say to determine how
I can
their
understand that,
happiness
but
or whatever,
the reason why I would still say it leans more over to the power of money as opposed to just what they want out of life is, let's say for instance I was someone who I get my joy from purely just from helping people. So I'm not exactly running to be the richest person, the most famous person. I'm just trying to help people.
Yeah.
So cool. For the most part, I would have a lot more accessible forms of excitement. But in my head, thinking about that scenario now, it doesn't necessarily mean I'll be happy, purely because if I'm swimming in like pounds and pounds of debt, like the stress is gonna kill that person off. Yeah. So in my head, it's like money is one thing that
what makes
no
you
matter
say that you would be in debt in the first place.
Oh no, that's like a
And
worst case
still,
scenario
again,
type of
you know,
thing.
there's
That kind of rules out the
yeah. But even still, in that sense, in terms of debt, you know, if anyone looks into it, you'll know that there's good debt and there's bad debt, and even you can use bad debt to your
advantage
in that sense.
Wait,
But that's
in
another
what sense,
avenue.
though?
That's another avenue that you would need to
Explore.
look into.
Yeah.
Just look at flipping Robert Kiyosaki online, and you can watch some videos on that in terms of good debt, bad debt, how you can use bad debt to your advantage. He's the guy that Rich Dad Poor Dad, the fucking right there.
You got the book,
but you'll see what I'm saying if you look into it. But in terms of debt, but yeah, from just a generalization point of view,
yeah. But that's looking at more of a. Would I be correct in saying more of an intellectual approach to that kind of scenario, as opposed to like a layman, normal person walking on the street approach?
To be honest, it's not even just his point of view, but a lot of people's point of view, in the sense of, you know, whether they've written books or, you know, they are sort of like more in a financial free position or whatever in life, and they're passing their teachings down, and you know what they've come across, and then obviously, you know, what they've learned, and then, you know, whatever. It's just a you know, just a, what is it, a stream or whatever you want to say, just passing it down, bro. You're just passing information down. Yeah. So, like, flipping, what am I getting at? You know, when you just lose track. But basically, bruv, is one way or the other. You're either gonna be someone who's gonna go, you're gonna do the 9 to 5 thing. Yeah. Some even called it 25 to life. And bruv, honestly, when I heard that the other day,
that shit's depressing.
I was, bruv,
I'm out.
Instantly,
I'm out. I'm checking out right now.
Instantly, you could watch a minute's video or so of someone, or even just read. And the thing is, it wasn't even a video. It was just a brief description of what that was. And instantly, I was like, fuck, like 25 to life. And when they broke it down in the picture thing, I was like, yo, like if man don't do something soon, like this is how it's looking for me. For real. Like, so it's either you change, it's either do something now and change it, and be on the other side, which the other side is just it's just being financially free, 100%. Or you're gonna stay in this, and you're gonna be in a 9 to 5 or 25 to life, or however you want to call it, and you're gonna blood, essentially, you're not gonna do nothing. You're not gonna do nothing, and that's the reality, blood.
You're
There's no other way to put
just
it.
gonna survive as opposed to living.
Exactly.
But one thing I just thought about that kind of contradicts what I said initially, that might probably be more aligned with what I think is, as opposed to money being a vital part of happiness, it could be that money just gives you the luxury to. Happiness. Oh yeah.
It's not even that.
I just think it's
just brings the freedom.
Freedom to be able to.
That doesn't mean that you're
whatever.
necessarily going to be happy. But it
gives you the option.
That's why I say peace of mind. Money,
True.
having money there or being financially free will give you.
Now I would agree more with that.
Peace of mind in that sense. It doesn't mean if I have XYZ amount of money or
I've got, definitely not. Because I mean we've seen it with the is it Robbie Williams? Or was it Robin Williams? I can't remember the comedian and a couple other people who have found themselves in those positions where they are like at the pinnacle.
Or even look into that. There's a good couple cases of
what's Donnie that did freaking the comedian guy that we used to talk about, the one that went woke and everyone was saying it was crazy.
David Chappelle.
No, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, that's it.
Yeah.
Like even him, he talked about it, because in my opinion, he's one perfect example of someone who just about skipped the bullet when it came to that kind of end of the line kind of thing. Yeah. Whenever I see him nowadays, it surprised me. Another person is, why am I forgetting their name? The guy that went out with Katy Perry, freaking Russell Brand. He's another person that I think I look at him now in a better light than I probably would do with Thingy.
Yeah, but whether you've been someone that's growing up to have money, or someone that worked for it, and you worked your ass off for it, and you put in a lot of hours and whatnot, and you may have just worked one or 2 years or so, or maybe even 5 years or so, and then managed to sort of take not a seat back, but you're no longer putting in those 10, 14 hours and whatnot to kind of take something off the ground, you know what I mean? But again, that doesn't bruv, it doesn't, you can make whatever you make. That doesn't determine how much happiness or so that you're gonna have, in your life. And I feel like the money and the happiness thing is a separate thing.
Yeah,
but
I could agree with that. Actually,
some people like to bundle it together, and
I think the reason why it's easy to kind of believe they are essentially the same is because for most people, a lot of the things that cause them not to be happy could be solved by money. Whether it's the stress of knowing where food is coming from, knowing where rent is coming from, most of the main stresses that pull on people's minds, like. Nowadays, again, like we said earlier, people are paying more attention to the mental health side of things. But back in the day, when people weren't paying attention to those, most your main stresses or your forms, the avenues to which you were gaining this amount of stress from, was mainly these things. It's financial issues. And even myself, as I am right now, that is my main form of stress as it is, which is something I'm gradually learning to kind of maneuver through, because I'm in a completely different position to a lot of people in terms of I'm in a different, whether it's take me back to Africa, I'm in a completely different position to most people, the average person there, even probably the rich people there. I'm in a different position to Africans that are over here because of my other backgrounds I've had and stuff like that. So it's kind of a weird one, because there's a lot you can learn from it, but it's so hard to be able to pass on that situation because so many people are in so many different kind of scenarios.
Well, I'll be interesting to know, what from, I don't want to speak on that because that's something we're still working on.
What's this?
But the thing that you mentioned to me the other day, that idea you mentioned to me.
Which one?
The event one.
Okay, yeah.
You see that? That will be a good opportunity in that sense to kind of find out in that exactly if I was to pose that question to everybody to say where do most of your stresses come from? Like what what bothers you the most, like on an everyday basis? Like, I'd be interested to hear what you say, because I know exactly what my one would be.
For sure.
And mine's is work. So,
Oh, so
you
the
know,
work part.
but the work part, is the I would
guess it
say
makes
the
sense.
most, if probably not the sole thing, really and truly. And then obviously, yeah, you know, there's always going to be somewhat, well gone.
It's saying reconnecting.
Here we go.
Fam,
See,
this is
cool.
your Wi-Fi if it's anything.
What, my Wi-Fi?
Yeah, for sure.
What? Okay.
It's using the Wi-Fi, innit?
Yeah, but mine's it's still on, brother. It's normal.
Oh yeah, nah.
Exactly.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
I don't know. Your thing's not.
It's still recording.
Your thing's not doing that spinny thing on from what I can see from it.
For real? Well, it's still recording, so screw it.
Oh, I don't have a clue, bruv.
I don't. But yeah.
But yeah, man. Basically, I think basically to bring to kind of put that in perspective in terms of that whole topic. I think it basically is what man is saying is that, like, if there's something you want to do, or if there's anything that you want to do and you know that you want your situation to change, whether that be financially or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't want to be going to work and, you know, working for somebody else and making somebody else's dreams come alive and whatnot. And you know, you've got ideas in your head, but you're not actually really putting them. You're not really putting them into action. You're not really doing anything. Like, you need to make that change in it. Like, whether that's immediate and you start to put that into effect now, or you do it in, obviously, of course, do it in steps. But you need to make the change in it, because it's much.
Yeah.
Like, the longer you leave it, like, it's just time's just passing by.
I think that's one thing that I was actually lucky enough to. It's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. I was lucky enough to understand earlier that whole idea that the sooner you start working on it,
this
the
is
better.
this is why I told you when you came to me with this idea in the first place of the podcast and whatever. This is why I said to you, just do it.
For sure.
Because at the end of the day, like,
It's not gonna hurt to just try it.
just whatever, innit?
For real.
Like, if you've got something you want to do, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Because it was like,
but
like my parents always used to like kind of stress the whole idea of making sure that you're not making decisions for just the now kind of thing. So I reckon that was something that really pushed me towards it, because it mainly just started ever since I was 14. I was just kind of stuck on that idea that mad if
my
I
mum
can make
always
money.
says to me that she never put man on the earth to just come to come here and work, like,
For
and
real.
pay rent and all them stuff there. This is not what man are on the earth to do.
You need to get things shifting for real.
Yeah, it's not. It's, you know, it's just not about that. Innit? It's not about that at all. So every time I hear that little saying there, it's like it gives me a little kick in my brain, and I'm
it's
like,
just like
okay,
another reminder.
shit. Like, I remember that I'm
Mission
not here to do
Impossible
this.
type
Fam.
shit.
Like, what am I here to do in it? Like, I'm here to experience things. So I want to experience things. I wanna just have many different experiences.
Impact.
You know, and you know, just have an impact on life. I want to change people's lives. I want to
For
change
real.
my own life. Like, man, wanna do so many different things, and I know that it's not gonna come from me
just
doing
the basic shit.
doing that, bruv. It's not gonna come from that. So I need to take myself out of that situation and put myself somewhere where it is gonna enable me to grow, and, you know, bring me to that, you know, so I can take myself to that place, basically. But yeah, man.
Stuff like that is what always confuses me when I hear people kind of settle for that whole life of just the usual 9 to 5.
Blood, I don't know how anyone does it.
Like,
I really don't.
If there's one thing that is on that list of things that I don't understand that constantly bugs me, it's just that idea. Like, did I tell you about the girl that I was working with, the Subway, that I spent 30 minutes genuinely asking questions about what is your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing? And for 30 minutes, she sat there and she couldn't tell me one thing she enjoyed doing that wasn't sex, party, and drugs. I am like dead ass just confused. I'm sat in front of her. I'm like, wow. Are you telling me you don't enjoy
That's it?
Making music, writing, reading books, like that?
I know there might be someone on the end that's thinking, that's boring.
Like it might be boring, but at least it's somewhat constructive. It's adding something. But what confused me even more after finding that out was I was like, okay, so what are your plans for like the future?
And it's just like an empty, open space.
Idea. It's just
like, I don't even know.
Are you paying rent? She's not paying rent. She's living at home. Oh, so why are you working? She just doesn't want to be sat at home.
Great. It's almost like, bruv, it's just like some of these lot, like, they have no purpose, bro. They're not thinking. Like, if you listen to me right now, yeah. If you're someone that's at home, like, and you're working as well, whether you're my kind of age or you're younger and you're like around 18, 19, 20 or so, like, you need to be saving that. You need to be saving that money.
And you need to be making use of that time. For real.
Make use
because
of the time,
if there's anything that's more important in terms of like doing more good for you in the future is making use of that time. Because as much as I've got a lot more learning to do, it's really scary.
But this is what,
because there really isn't very much.
When people are saving, right, and even like, they're at home and they're doing the saving thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I'll say like, oh, okay, like, cool. So what are you doing with that money then? Yeah. And they'd be like, oh, sometimes it's the typical, uni. Oh yeah, I'm gonna, no, not even uni. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, saving up to buy a house or put down on something, whatever. Them kind of ones. Yeah. Sometimes it's, oh, I'm saving up to buy a car. Cool, you're saving up to buy a car. I'm thinking, all right. So I said, I'm thinking, when you buy the car, like,
what then?
I said, I'm thinking, when you buy the car, what's next? In that sense, like, all right, you've saved up the money, you've got the car. Now, what do you have left, or what's going on now that you've got the car? Because now you're gonna pay the expenses and whatnot for the car, etc., etc. And obviously, bear in mind, before I even get into that, I'm thinking roughly, what is it that you're looking to get, and what's the amount that you're gonna pay for this car, especially if you're buying it out brand new as well. So what's the amount you're gonna pay? It could be 10, it could be 20, it could be 35, whatever. I don't know. So I'm saying, hold on, you're gonna save up all that money to buy a car, bruv. You're gonna save up all that money to buy a car.
And half of these people don't know what they need.
Then you've bought the car. Then what have you got left? Probably some change, not really much, or you've just got nothing left. And now what have you got? You've got the physical material there, but what have you got now? Nothing. So now you've got to go back to saving, blood. You've got to go back to saving or whatever. And even then, you probably can't even save as much now.
Definitely
because
not.
maybe your situation's changed. Maybe whatever. Maybe the car and the expenses of having the car is taking it all up and whatnot. Like, blood, to me, that's a waste of money, innit? Like, that is a waste of money. Like, I'm not saying, oh, don't save up and don't get a car. But what I'm saying is get some, like, you don't need to go all out and get some mad thing. Just get something decent and part of some change where you can be like, all right, cool, or money or whatever, and be like, okay, with this, I'm going to buy a car. But then on the flip side of this, or you know what's a better idea? Which is what I would implement, which is what I've already started, but with something that I've taken on and that I will implement now is investing in something first before, investing in an asset first before, so basically invest in an asset and liability second. So basically what that means is basically having your asset pay off the liability.
For sure.
In that sense. So Do it that way. Don't get the liability first and then invest into an asset second. It just don't make no sense. Why not invest in something which is obviously gonna be
has the potential of
you know,
giving you more
yeah,
to be able to sort
and
out
more
your
growth in terms of growing
liabilities.
your money and whatever. And when you grow your money, and then buy the car because you've invested in an asset, you know, that's growing or whatever. Hopefully, more than likely, and then that's allowed you to buy. Potentially, yeah, the liability. So that's
It's
how
like-
people need to start looking at shit, man.
Yeah, definitely. But it's weird because the people who are around me, like in the spaces that I'm involved in, a lot of them, it's not even like they need a car for anything. Like I asked them,
don't even matter
why
if it's a
did
car,
you
it
do
could
your
just be
driving
anything.
license? Why are you getting a car?
It could just be
and it's
anything.
like,
Fam, people could be
I'm getting a
saving-
car just because I don't enjoy getting
People
a bus.
could be saving money and just have. I know people that's got money.
Nah, fair play
that
to you
just-
if you're doing that.
That
By
just
the way,
have the money sitting there and it just sits there, and it's like
it's wild.
it's, blood. What? It's almost like. Why is it just sitting there? Like, I'm confused. I'm baffled as to how it's just sitting there. That don't make no sense to me because all right, you've got money. You're not letting money work for you.
Yeah.
So what's it doing? What's the purpose of having this money there for exactly? I'm confused. Like
Yeah, it's a sticky one
it
still.
don't make no sense to me, bro.
It's
makes
just so
no
wild.
sense to
Like
me.
I mean, in my head, fair play to you. You do you. But at the same time, I would just like to have more insight as to why that is the case because it's just so wild to me. It's
I just think
foreign to my
I just think some or just
thought process.
It could just be a somewhat no offense, but some just can just sometimes be a lost cause. Like you go into work or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're putting money down, and like especially if you're someone that like. It's not a bad thing. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
not a bad thing. It's just like why you settling for less?
Give it some purpose, innit?
Exactly.
Give it some purpose so it don't feel like you're just going to work and you're just working and you're just putting money down inside, but you don't necessarily know what you're putting it
down for.
Like it is good because it's down there.
Yeah.
But if you don't do nothing with it,
it's not any good.
It's no good
to you.
And especially if you're dead as well, it's no good.
That is like worst case scenario.
You put all the money down.
Exactly.
You never got to spend it. You didn't do nothing with it.
What does fascinate me about those people in those situations is the idea that they are not worried. Like they are not worried. Like the whole idea behind ignorance being bliss or being bliss for the time being is interesting. Like these people are not worried in the slightest.
But it could be many reasons why they're not worried because of their parents.
No, I have to speak up, mate, because ain't no one gonna hear you like that.
It could be because of many reasons, isn't it? Like they probably got there when their mum passed on or dad passed on, they can have this whole big money. Do you know what I'm saying? Or they're content with what they have. Do you know what I mean? They can live better.
I guess that makes sense, but still, it still fascinates me the fact that you are in a position where you could be doing a lot more than you are for whether it be for yourself, for your future generation, for whatever.
Yeah, I do.
And you're sat in that situation, and whether or not it's occurring to you or not, but you're in such a position that it doesn't bug you. Because in my position, it's more of a problem because I am constantly thinking about it. Like going to work every day I go to work.
I feel like if you're
stressed.
someone that
I'm like, bruh, I need to get out of here.
And it's on your brain on a regular basis, every day essentially, or whatever. You're like, I personally feel you're gonna do something about it because
for sure
it's on your brain
because like
every day. So you're bound to do something about it because you know that you literally cannot cope with
with just
with the way it's going. Like you've got to do something 100%. About it. So it's
like one of the times that I realized for me it was more of a problem was I was sat on the bus headed to work one morning and I was like, okay, I'm tired and all. So I'm sat on the bus, there's a bit of traffic and the bus just rolls slightly forward and then it stops just in front of this kind of office building. And I just look in, just a bunch of rows and columns, staring at screens. I literally felt physically sick Like I was sat there and I felt like I was looking into a
It's
prison.
like they're plugged in. It's like they're plugged in.
It genuine, like I sat there and I was like, wow. Like I've never felt this amount of like energy just like bursting out of me. Like I'm like, bruh, I don't want that.
And yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. And you look at that and you think that
not in the slightest.
That can't be you.
Can't.
You're gonna do everything that you can do for that not to be you.
Exactly.
Like,
It's really painful. And that's another thing that makes me even feel worse for the people who are in the situation of whether it's being homeless or not even having the option to be able to get yourself out of the situation you're in. Because at least I'm in a position where I can look at things and be like, okay, I don't want that. I want this instead. Whereas there's some men that are in such a really tough situation that it's like, before you can start thinking of what you want, you need to be able to get food to eat. You need to be able to get warmth. Like that whole period of snow, like the worst thing. The time I came over here and we had that brief chat about the back end work on this whole thing.
Yeah.
I was heading back home and I walked past this homeless dude. So in my head, I was like, okay, I have to stop. Because even if I need that money to catch a bus, whatever, at least I have a coat. So I decided to stop. The thing that hit me the most was the man just was like, bro, thanks for at least stopping and checking. And he was like, I'm starting to feel invisible sat here. Yeah. And I was just sat there like in pieces. I walked off and walked right back to give him the last $5 I had on me. Because it was like, oh my God, this is just crazy.
Yeah. Not to take away from the dude, but yeah, there was I can't remember his name now, but there was might have to find out what his name is. But yeah, he was basically going over that same
scenario,
sort of like story where he was saying like, you know, because he was saying that he grew up homeless and all that kind of stuff, whatever. And he was giving off that same expression of not being noticed, and he felt invisible or whatever. And then obviously, you know, until he came across his family, and then, you know, they took him in, and, you know, his life completely changed and whatever, and you know, all that sort of stuff, bro. And it's just it's mad, man. It is mad to think. And the thing is, every time it's when the weather's bad outside, and whether that's, you know, pissing down with rain or you know, or like or snow or whatever, like, and like you could be on your way home or whatever. Usually it's probably more time when you're on your way home or you're already inside, and you look outside the window or whatnot, you're just like, boy, for all the people that's out there that ain't got nowhere to go,
for sure,
that don't have a roof over their head, that's when you start appreciating shit, and you're like,
for real,
man, I'm really
in a good position
to support myself,
exactly, to be at least in the position that I'm in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Sometimes it might not be everything that I want, but at least I'm here in that sense. So
because there was a patch that I had where I felt, I wouldn't say necessarily numb to the whole thing, but there was this occasion where a homeless guy walks up to me, and he's like, the whole drill, I'm trying to get a room in this place. Could you help me out with some money? I emptied out my purse and was like, my purse, bro. Fam, I have sisters.
I emptied out my purse. Yeah.
That's wild. I emptied out my wallet and gave him all the money I had then. I was meant to be buying food to eat. This was while I was still in secondary school. And he walked away and he was like, cheers, dude. And I was like, I felt good about it. I was like, at least I was able to help.
I hope.
Man, a week later, I'm seeing this man walk past me all dapper as shit. Like, I don't even understand it. What, like, best case scenario, the time between then, someone gave him a job, someone got him a house. But the way he looked and the impression I got, that man just literally
he almost seems like
finessed me. 100%.
Well, I was thinking,
I have never felt that much anger in one moment. Literally. I'm like, fam, I deprived myself of getting food just because I was like, okay, let me help this man out. And you're telling me you have a house and everything, and you're out here finessing people.
Are you out here looking fresh?
For real. Like not that I want him to stay in the same
like
position.
I wanted to be in the same garments and that. Nah, you come out. I give you money and now you out.
Fam, dude was competing with me, but that's not the that's not the thing though. It's wild. It's kind of like that Don that be walking into that McCall's, that one that walks in and he comes and gets like a coffee from us. From Subway, the homeless dude.
Bro, there's
he would walk in, stink out the whole place, and I used to feel super bad. And then I was on the bus once, and I saw Dunny walk out of a house, roll into a car, and start driving. Do you know how baffled, how confused I was? I gave that man so many free drinks just because I was like, let me do my part. Let me play my part. Let me deprive myself of my free drinks and give this guy a hot coffee.
There are some homeless finesses out here that
the amount that had been caught a couple months ago is
they're
wild
not really homeless, you get me,
heck.
but they're pretending to be. In that sense. Yeah.
Like the finessing game is strong, and I thought I was good at it. Like, bruh, it's actually annoying because the worst part is when people are actually playing with your generosity. Yeah. It's like, whoa, like now you're messing about. Like if you were just finessing me, let's say someone rolled up on me and okay, please no one roll up on me and steal shit. But let's say that happened. At least I know that this is kind of like a fairly, not necessarily even playing field. But now you're drawing strings. It's like puppet master behavior. I hate that. I hate that even worse than straight up thieves. Like at least let me know that you're a thief. Just
let me know.
Exactly.
You're a thief.
Facts.
What do you want?
Like scream at me and take my wallet. I'd rather that than make me open my wallet and empty it out just because I feel bad for you.
Think that anyone
it's
ever
wild.
tried to rob me.
I've never had it.
Has someone tried to rob me before? I think I have, but I don't think it went well.
For who?
For them. I'm trying to think that. Yeah, them old school times when man was growing up. Trying to think if someone tried.
I think it went well.
I don't think it went well, blood. And the maddest thing is as well, someone would say, "Oh, you're an idiot," whatever. But fam, in depending on the scenario, if I feel like I can, if I feel like I can have a chance, I might just take the chance.
Facts. I mean, especially nowadays, I roll with a longboard. Like, fam, do you know how much this right here was just me just slightly grazing my hand across it, and it did that much damage on the bus. I keep thinking to myself, like, let someone try me. Fam, you're losing the whole side of your face. You be looking like that Two-Face guy off of what film was that?
Batman.
For real. Like, nowadays, I'm good. Who needs a strap when you have a longboard? For real. Keep it 100. But, like, I hate it, though. I hate people who are just... who are two-faced, basically. Nah. It's wild.
And they deceive you. It's
exactly.
Like, you feel like a mug. You feel like a mug.
Weirdly, it's similar to that whole conversation of the racism thing, where I would rather I know this person is racist, than the person be racist behind my back.
Yeah.
Type situation. I would prefer if no one was racist, but I would very much prefer I knew who someone was as opposed to someone acting differently when they're around me / behind the scenes type situation.
Yeah. Wow, boy.
But it's mad. Gosh. That was a deep one. It's weird because that whole idea of the two-faced thing is another issue that I can't deal with in work. In just the work environment. Not necessarily straight up my workplace.
But it's just what it is, bro. It's just what it is. That's just what it is. I might not even want to speak on the work thing anyway. That's just what it is. That's just what it is in work, innit? Like you either gonna find or catch a genuine buddy in there, or you ain't. You get me? So it's whatever.
Weirdly, I'm actually happy I've worked in the places I have because I've met individuals who are like Subway. That's where I met you. This other place, that's where I've met Danny, and it's like I've met at least one individual who's got their head screwed on enough to be able to relate on a human level as opposed to just the whole high and by situation.
It's when you get around, bruv, you meet people in it.
100%.
You make connections and whatnot, and and you kind of just sort of develop your own sort of network of people and whatever. But yeah, man. But anyway, right. Speak to me on this Gucci shit, lad. What's going on?
Gucci.
Because I don't know what's going on, fam.
Right.
It seems like you have more insight than what I have. So what is the
Definitely.
issue here?
So, let me explain it from the perspective of just social media as it seems. So initially, Gucci dropped this sweater.
Yeah.
So it's like a turtleneck thing.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
the pictures, yeah.
Exactly. With the red lips and black stuff there type shit. And everyone's like, rah. I mean, first thing that came up in my head was, what the fuck? Like, is anyone trying to tell me this isn't what they're trying to play around with? Because
what
that's
is
how
it,
it
though?
seemed. The whole gollywog thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The whole black, accentuated
Red
lips,
lips, yeah.
red
Yeah.
thing. It seems very much like that to be a mistake. So, and with that being the only thing that was put up, everyone is kind of confused as to what the hell is going on.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, because I'm seeing images and whatnot, and I'm thinking...
It just seems so wild.
I'm just, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused, you get me? But then
For
I'm
real.
seeing like people say like, nah, I'm still buying Gucci and whatnot, and whatever. And I'm like,
and
I don't really...
The
like,
crazy
yeah,
part is
I'm
that
just confused.
everyone is going boycott Gucci. So I made that post on Instagram that was me essentially ranting about the idea that these corporations, whether racist or not,
Everyone
are
always wants
making
to
use
boycott
of...
a thing when these things pop up, innit? Like it was H&M first. Now it's
I mean,
Gucci things.
man knew
Yeah.
they weren't boycotting
Yeah,
H&M.
that's what I'm trying. Don't get me wrong.
Man's too
I don't
broke
do-
to
I
be
don't-
boycotting
I don't do this
H&M.
H&M thing. I know.
I
know a lot of
definitely
people
do the
I know-
H&M
yeah, that's what I
thing.
mean, but me, I'm not really. Man, ain't really on that thing. So
Yeah.
when it came around of boycotting H&M,
Yeah. It wasn't even a consideration.
That wasn't a thing for me. Mate.
Yeah.
It wasn't. You know what I mean? But
Like I'm not gonna lie, I considered it for a bit, but I then thought about other parts of that scenario that kind of differs
the
from...
thing is, right, from this aspect, because I don't even know if I still got the video on my phone.
Yeah. Is it of the people smashing it up?
No. It's a video basically of a guy
Yeah.
outlisting near enough all top brands like Gucci and them and whatever.
They're just like...
In terms of it's basically saying that they're racist, basically towards blacks,
Tommy
racist companies, and he's basically saying that these
Papa
are the companies that we support.
Yeah.
We rock their shit and we buy their shit for
smacking us in the face.
for thousands. You know what I mean? Of
Versace.
of you know what I mean? And it's like they don't even fuck with us. Don't rate us, blood. Don't support or nothing. So it's like how are we showing and giving them so much support and buying their shit and whatnot?
Yeah.
Like, and then basically it was just one of those videos where it's like, you need to find, black owned businesses and whatever, and and the people that work, working within that field.
Yeah.
And obviously, support their thing, innit?
Yeah.
Basically. So, but fam, I've said from the get-go, well, not from the get-go, I would say for probably at least 2 years now, I've pretty much been on the whole tip of, man don't care about all this brand shit, fam. Like, man don't care. Like, obviously, because even when I seen that video, I was thinking, I almost started thinking, shit, like maybe I might actually need to look into brands now in terms of like who's because man don't want to be supporting no brand or whatever that's whatever. But obviously that's the thing when you're going to buy clothes.
Yeah.
You go in to buy,
what looks good,
clothes, innit? And obviously what you like and whatever you think.
It's not about
just what suits you and whatever what you like, innit, kind of thing. So you're not really looking that deeply into it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, if I just put that to one side for a minute, but like, man don't care about the brands, innit? And all that kind of stuff. Like if man like it or whatever, then like if I can justify the money for it, then I'm getting it. Basically, but brand thing or not, man don't care. And obviously, there's a lot of people out here, especially today, it's all about brands, isn't it?
It's really all
it's
about
all
brands.
about the brands.
And I think those are the people who, who are complaining more, for real, complaining more about these.
What about
these
you, buddy?
things.
You're a brand. You're a brand one, ain't you?
I'm not a brand one. I
You
just
are.
like,
But
I just
actually-
like what I like.
actually,
what I like.
but-
You're a
but
brand one because
before
you got
I
the,
forget-
you got the money. You got the money. That's a brand. That's from John Anthony.
It's got
I
the
can't
cash.
afford that.
Yeah, but this is just an old school. Man, just wear
It
this
doesn't
inside.
matter.
Man, just wear this.
But
inside.
actually, just before I forget, I never actually completed the Gucci thing. But turns out,
Yeah,
so after I posted that thing on Instagram, complaining about the whole brands making use of propaganda just to sell clothing, I thought, and how I hated it, and I thought it was kind of done with. I got a friend message me about the whole Gucci thing because she is super into the high fashion world as it seems. So she was kind of explaining what the media isn't showing. And then she sent me a couple photos of the fashion line, Gucci fashion line on their runway. So it was a theme that they had where the mouths were red.
Yeah.
And so over so many different clothing items, it was a balaclava theme. It was like this winter theme that was going on. The mouth area was red, and it was playing around with patterns and stuff like that. But then the one that happened to be shown was a version that was black. And so in my head, after seeing that, I was like, actually, I could see how this could be a creative mistake.
Yeah.
I can 100% see that. Because there's multiple times that whether it's writing songs or doing designs that I've created, and then someone has pointed out to me like, dude, that shit could look like something else type situation. So in my head, I looked at that and I was like, okay, maybe we actually need to start paying more attention to context as opposed to just jumping on this whole Black Power thing. Which is why I said earlier that I think this is the one situation that the whole black community as those kind of justice warriors have got it wrong.
Well, yeah, could be the case. And
Could be the case. And it could be that they're genuinely racist, but who knows?
You can't get things wrong.
True.
You can't get things wrong. I did the Nazi sign once, and man never knew it was that. You get me?
For sure.
And I did, yeah. I remember I did the Nazi sign in school, and I never knew what it was. And the teacher just said, nah, we can't use that. And I was like, man, bear in mind, I'm confused. I'm thinking, why can't, like, what's wrong with it? Like, yeah. I've just taken time to do this. You get me? And do that pattern, and you're telling me I can't use it. Like, what on? And I never got an explanation as to what on. Wow. It was just straight taken away. I managed to do a next one. So, and then afterwards, probably further down the line or so, I would have found out.
Oh right, are you on about like the swastika symbol?
Yeah.
Weirdly, I never knew that. I can't even remember when I stumbled across what it actually was, but I always saw it and just assumed it was just the symbol. I never actually understood till I actually understood type situation.
It's crazy though. It's crazy wild. Like how you could do that or whatever without actually knowing. You get me? Yeah. Like what the meaning or so behind that. Even
and what I think is even wild is the fact that why wouldn't they explain to you at least?
Exactly, and that's a good thing actually. Wild. Why didn't she explain? Why didn't she explain?
Because right there is where it could.
The thing is, don't get me wrong. She may have said like, "Oh, it's a bad sign."
Yeah,
but that ain't really explaining.
That's not.
It's
that's not
like,
saying anything.
Oh, I would have loved to hear that explanation, but trust me, would have loved to have heard the explanation that she would have gave me. Because to kind of clue me up on it. Like, what would she have said in that sense? Like, I would have loved to have heard that. And I wonder if anything of that sort does happen in school today.
Definitely.
I wonder if
I think it might be slightly different nowadays because people have more access to information. So I feel like the knowledge is spreading a lot more. Yeah, but I don't think if you're someone in primary school, it's possible to still make the mistake.
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna really be like, of course, but people got phones and whatnot and whatever. You know what I mean? So. But I don't think you're gonna be that clued up. True. Really, and in that sense. So, true. It's our teachers and that are they putting up these kids and whatnot, and obviously students and whatnot in their classes and whatnot, and if they do make a mistake or not a mistake or whatever, but they do something that is not necessarily deemed right, Like, what are they being told? What's the information that's being passed on in that sense?
Right.
But, yeah,
I need to eat.
Mad one.
I need to eat.
I'm trying to think though.
Yeah. Nah, it's
But
it's
you know
so
what?
wild.
Just because I knew it was gonna bring some old school memories.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, man, but I know for me that I've always been a bit of a strange one, innit? Yeah. I know even he's looking at me. He's strange as what? Man, he's a very
Like,
strange one, but as people can already probably tell. Yeah. But now obviously for whatever reason, I just thought this was funny, innit?
Yeah.
And obviously, so, Christmas time or whatever was coming up to that period. And obviously I just bought a bunch of cards, innit? Obviously for the whole class.
Okay.
Hashtag wet.
Yeah. Man bought some cards for the whole class. And blood, this is what I done. This is what I done with the cards. Or basically what I written there. So it basically, for example, it was like, dear Jimmy, I hope
That's
I
wild.
hope you have a shitty Christmas.
That's wild. Dear Jimmy.
I hope you have a shitty Christmas and you don't get no presents.
Oh, hope you have a shitty Christmas.
I swear though, fam, no word of a lie. About the 50 or so cards was basically every single one of them was basically me saying, hi,
Man was moving on
hi
dark.
Jim, hi Susan, hi Darren or whatever. Basically, hope you have a shit Christmas, etc., etc. Hope you don't get no presents.
Oh,
yeah?
man.
Like blood. Even in some of them, mum was even wishing death.
Oh my.
You're moving like me, blood.
Wow.
That's how that would.
Mum was even wishing death in some of the cards.
Yeah,
fam.
Wow. Is it mad like that?
Blood. I'm telling you, fam. Me
strange,
growing
yeah.
up, blood. Yeah, fam. My mum will tell you, blood. Man, obviously, because even when she brings it up to me, sometimes because obviously they obviously would have, got onto her. Obviously,
Oh wow.
obviously at the school, they
How
obviously
do you
had to
explain
get
that?
yeah, they obviously had to get her up at the school, innit?
How do
And
you explain that?
And basically was like, Antoine's writing, some disturbing stuff in the cards, basically, about death and how someone should die, etc., etc. And it was like,
Psychotic. Yeah, cheers.
oh, fam.
Going on sick insane.
Man, I can't tell you
Bruh.
this why I do the shit that I do, blood, or why I was. Fam, to me, I just thought it was funny. Like, I just genuinely thought that it'd be a funny thing to do. Rather than
had dark humor.
sometimes
from a
I
young
like to
age.
do stuff backwards and like as mad as that may sound. Like I didn't want it to be the same generic card, didn't it? I didn't want to say, hi,
Different.
etc., etc.
Unique.
Merry Christmas, and man, I didn't want to do that. Man, I wanted to.
And I thought I was weird.
As mad as it sounds, wish death and all that other stuff.
But I mean, at least you got a fairly genuine reaction in secondary school. End of secondary school, I tailored, because I had a fairly small class of probably about 30-ish students in my year. I tailored a message to every single individual, just essentially saying, hope you have a good future. Hope everything goes well. I wasn't wishing death on man. I was like, hope everything goes well. I enjoyed these times we had, etc. Kind of specifics on individuals.
Yeah.
And like, if I'm trying to write this for like 30 people in one night, I'm not gonna start each one on some super unique thing, right? So I sent it to everyone, and then I come in on probably, was it the last day or something like that? And then word is going around, and people are coming up to me, having a go at me for copying and pasting. I genuinely sat there and wrote each and everything, because I was like, okay, I don't want to copy and paste. I want to actually put the effort into it. Even if it's going to start the same way, hey, this person, even if it's going to start the same way, at least let me put the effort and write it again.
But I know sometimes when
And
sometimes you
they
didn't
were-
even get no card. Man, I felt offended.
No one did that. I was the one that started doing it, and people saw it and decided to start doing it.
Have you ever been in a class and sometimes people's handing up the cards and that, and you rather don't get a card?
Yeah, that was happened to me every single time.
I was cool with everybody. I never had that.
I've had that, fam.
It's like everybody hates Robson,
especially when it's a gal as well. And it's a gal. Especially when it's a galley, fam, and it's maybe someone you like, or you got a little crush on. And they start handing up the cards to all the people in the class and whatnot, and you're kind of standing there waiting on yours, and
you feel like the bar. You feel like the bar.
Never get it, blood.
Nah,
just never get it. Then you're standing there, just in space, just like.
I remember
contemplating life.
I remember, in my tutor, everybody's dishing out the cards. And like the teacher's dishing out the cards and all that from all these people. So I don't get one. So it's playtime. Everybody's saying, "Oh, did you get the card? Did you get the card?" and all that. They're saying, "Yo, Robson, who do you get a card from, blood?" And everybody's looking around from me like, and I'm thinking, blood, I'm raged now. So I'm ready to pick up this chair and throw it at the whole crowd. Because they're laughing at me, blood. But I want the card.
What, because you got a card or you didn't get one?
Because I didn't get a card, Bitrin. Everybody's chatting around, like, yeah, who'd you get a card from? Like, and they're saying, yo, Robson. And now everybody looks at me now. So, it's like the flashlight's on you. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's laughing already because they know the answer. And I know the answer. Did you get a card? So, blood, I just find one chair and I just dash it, blood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because...
Nah, these things were man are growing
up.
Man,
wow.
I wonder if anyone deems that shit important now. I wonder if that actually makes anyone feel away.
What?
Obviously, like the whole cards thing and just anything of that sort of capacity, like now, it
does. It does. But they don't take too much heart to it.
Or they don't express it as much.
Yeah.
Because with me, like I never had to write the cards and everything. It was easy text messages. But the one that hit me the most was the fact that I took my time out to tell you how much I appreciated the time we had.
Yeah, but were all the messages the same though for every single?
They weren't.
Oh, so what's the problem then?
Her problem was it started the same way. The wording was similar. I was like, okay, go ask Chelsea what hers was.
Okay.
Fam, they sat there and compared it. They were like, okay, it's different, but it still sounds the same.
You had some real technical people looking into your cards. Because mine,
Fam, I was confused. If you got a card,
especially from me.
I was so pissed off. I was like, right, if I could unsend this message right now, I would do it.
I can guarantee you.
Nah, it was wild.
It was really wild. For you, boy. You're wishing death and stuff in there.
I used to do the whole card thing every Christmas as well. Yeah, I used to send every single person on my Facebook a card, and then I realized how stupid it was. I used that. That was so wild. Why not?
That don't count. Facebook cards and all that shit don't count.
Why not? Especially if I take the time out to design it. Of course it counts. It better count. If it don't count, then
would you? Yeah, but do you mean literally design, or do you mean just them little like?
No, like I literally sat on Photoshop for hours designing the card and sending out to people.
That's different. I don't mind that, but if I was just talking about them little card things or whatever you can get
I used to.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, I realized how much of a waste of time it was because even probably about 50% of the people only replied to it like a year or two later. Like I had someone 2 Christmases later, they were like, "Oh, thanks." I'm like, "Fam, this is from 2014. What are you hitting me up for?" It's like, okay, you've been dead for 2 years, so yeah, might as well stay there. Nah, yeah, social media is wild. Luckily, like I said, I didn't have to actually tailor and write cards out because that would have been wild. I would have probably been definitely flipping chairs. But yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I thought I was a weird kid. Yeah, y'all are on another level.
Yeah. Oh, fam, trust me, believe me. Yeah, when it comes to me and school, fam, man got some stories, and
fam, I was literally the nicest kid in school. I was every teacher's favorite in school. I was always performing at freaking assemblies because I was the only student that was nice enough to accept to do stuff at assemblies. Yeah. But then, the school system broke me and then I left school and I hate everything now. yeah, it's kind of wild.
Man, do some mad shit, you know, bruv. Really do. Really
For
do.
real.
I'll never forget this one time, though. And my mum will know about this one. She'll know about this one. She always brings this one up. There's probably a good few that she brings up, but she always bring this one up. And we would have went Torquay for first holiday. Torquay, yeah.
Make sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before.
First holiday, where they went Torquay, and was going to the beach thing. Going to the beach now, and man's on some high cliff, bro. I'm like, this is no joke thing. Man's on some high. Well, I would say, yeah, high enough. Man's on some rocky cliff. There ain't no barriers or nothing like that to really hold yourself up whilst you're walking up.
What time does the recording turn off? Is it on unlimited?
Yeah, it should be alright though.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And man's on some high off cliff. And my mum and my sisters, they're both ahead of me, innit? So they're walking down, and obviously I'm slightly behind. And I get this idea that it will be funny to act like I've fell off the cliff, innit? So they're walking ahead, and I'm just looking down. I'm like, rah, that's kind of far down. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely believable. So I'm just like, I'm contemplating it for a second. I just thought, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. So I'm like, and I was like, Antoine!
Oh man.
Antoine! Then she sees one standing there. Let me tell you, fam. Blood, let me tell you, bro. I thought the biggest box was coming, blood. Trust me when I tell you, man thought the biggest box was coming my way. And when it didn't come, I was surprised. It's almost like I was baffled. But
sure.
I think she was so
shocked.
glad to see me that she just couldn't dish out the box anymore.
Bruh.
I'm telling you, bro. I've done some crazy shit, man. Honestly, I really have.
I mean, I wasn't that wild. I was scared of heights. I think the closest crazy shit I've done, well, it wasn't really even me. So as kids, we were playing Africa, no light situation type shit. You have to figure out some kind of fun to do. So we were playing, like, we were acting and stuff. So the storyline was meant to be as I believed it to be, that I still believe it to be today. My sister would disagree as to what the storyline was, but in my head it was, we were playing zombies, and I was meant to be the zombie trapped in a boot. And so the plan was, don't close the boot fully, so I'm able to pop out and it's like rah and everyone runs. But apparently my sister didn't get the memo, or she didn't understand it like that. So man's stepped into the boot of the car and she's jammed it, and the boot refused to open. Like 30 minutes later, they're using the key trying to open the boot. The thing didn't open, and I'm just sat in there suffocating my ass out. Yeah, she suffocation, huh? Of course.
I'm listening, and I'm thinking, did he really just ask that question? Can I go deaf?
Yes, fam. I was scared, dude. I like that. That's one of the few moments I've had.
That's a real tight spot to be in, boy.
Like all I could see was the little punched holes.
You're trying to go
in the
hole.
Just with like light piercing through, and I was literally
You've
running out of
mentally
oxygen.
kidnapped.
Fam, I was and
mentally kidnapped.
The worst part is when they explained it to me, they were like, basically what my sister did was she went to go grab the keys so she could open it because the shit jammed, and my mum was like, "What do you need the keys for? Why are you coming to grab the keys to the car?" And she said nothing and walked off. A couple minutes later,
them ones where you don't want to tell.
Exactly. A couple minutes later, she goes back to grab the keys again, and my mom's like, "What do you need the keys for? Why are you trying to take the keys to the car?" And she walks off. Comes back again, and my mom's like, "If you can't tell me what you need the keys for, don't come back here or I'll beat you."
No, trust me, you don't want to receive the
And
keys.
she left. In my head, I'm like, "Raw, I'm in there dying." and you walked away because you didn't want to get a beating. So she went and told this family friend that we had that was cooking for us at the time. And the lady ran out and literally lifted up the car trying to jack the boot open. Before she then ran in and got my older sister, who came out and thought it was funny and started laughing about it. And then finally called for my mom, who just happened to... I can't even remember. Did she open it in time, or did I crawl out through one of the... So basically it was one of the Mercedes cars. So it's got that bit that's like... It's a storage area, but if you open it from the inside, you could crawl out from the boot. I can't remember if that's what I did or if they actually opened the boot. But dude, boy, was I relieved to still have my life. It was wild. Yeah, most of the things I've gone through, I will blame it on other people because it was more their fault than it was mine. Yeah, I was a calm kid. I ain't gonna lie. I was a calm kid.
I wonder if anyone really receives beatings nowadays. When you said that your sister was gonna get beaten, it just made me think. I wonder if any.
I don't think they do.
I wonder if kids really like blood. I heard some kid going on wicked. Wicked. A couple days ago, bruv. Just literally, like they were the older young child, bruv. Like they were the older, giving out all these rules and dishing it out. Like, yeah, you're gonna buy it. No, today. I thought, blood. All I was saying in my mind was I would
put me in a coma right now.
If you were ever mine. But then I'm thinking that probably isn't. I know that I wouldn't have to do that because that wouldn't be the case anyway. That would never be the case with me anyway.
But now there's such thing called childline now and all these type of things. And you got to understand that. But
what is childline if you don't have a phone? Think about it.
But there's
you know, some kids as well like to
witnesses, and you know that's frowned upon in England. If you beat your kids,
I've never understood. I understand it now, but yes, discipline is weirdly. That was actually something that I wanted to talk about. I think we'll have to leave that for next episode. But I was gonna say, are we gradually killing discipline? That was the question.
So,
that's
the title within itself.
For sure.
So that's right. That's the title.
So,
right there.
I don't even want to touch too much on it because I watch a couple programs and stuff that spawn that kind of question.
Well, yeah. Well, so, that's you know what? Yeah, that's definitely one. That's definitely one because I'll tell you now. I've seen a lot of things recently.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
lead
very
you to
recently,
believe so.
On a frequent basis, where I just these kids, bruv. These kids, honestly, you know, it's almost like they're the ones in control nowadays, and it's madness to me. This is absolute madness to me. So, yeah, gotta see what's going on in that department there still.
For sure.
Never mind. And just to end up on someone will always say, but how do you know it's not gonna be yours? And I just say because it's me, innit? It's not possible. It's not physically.
It would
possible.
never get to that
never gonna
stage.
happen with me. I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen, innit? I know kids can be kids and they have a mind of their own and whatever. But trust me, it's not gonna happen, innit? Yeah. So that's all I'm gonna say.
I think that's one thing I know for sure isn't happening on my watch.
No.
Like if you tell me the kid is misbehaving when I'm not there, I could sort of understand the chance that could happen. Yeah. But misbehaving when I'm there,
do your boy. Thing, but just, you know, mind your manners and all that sort of stuff.
For real.
And whatever, you get me? But yeah, man, be free and do your thing and whatever, but just mind yourself on it.
I'm just hoping that I have kids that are like me. Because I was a really calm kid, so
well, yeah. There's certain
so I hope
I would like my kids.
I hope that would be the case.
Aspects, nah, definitely not. Man's off key, innit? If my kids are anything like me growing up, man, I'm gonna have some stuff to deal with, honestly. Yeah. So
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. If I have kids, that's like me.
But yeah, man, definitely. Next episode. That's the topic there. Still, kids. Growing
for
up,
sure.
Discipline. Is it going out the window?
I'm looking forward to that one for real.
Yeah, man.